Hello, everyone, and welcome to iCritic Live. This is the podcast where we talk about entertainment, pop culture, and life in between. I'm Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and I am your host today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your time here with me today. And we've got three topics that I want to discuss this week. Three. And the title could only fit in two of those topics. So if you're here for either of those two topics, you have to deal with this one first, and that is controversial figure Kevin Spacey. And as you may have figured out, the reason I didn't put Kevin Spacey in the topic of this podcast title is because, well, he's not very good for the algorithm. So this is the surprise topic, if you will. But Kevin Spacey is trying to mount a comeback. He has largely been off screen since, I want to say 2012 or something like that. It can't be that long. No, probably 2017 is more accurate. And here's the thing. I have to be perfectly honest. Kevin Spacey is one of my favorite actors purely from an acting standpoint. Like, he is one of the best that is out there. Of course, he's won 2 Academy Awards, and I actually am one of the very, very few people who saw a cut of All the Money in the World with Kevin Spacey in it, and he was very, very good. He would have had a 3rd Oscar nomination with that movie had the scandal not broken out and he'd not been replaced. Although, for the record, Christopher Plummer was very, very good as well, and I have no complaints with his replacement. I just think the Kevin Spacey cut should be made available because that is also equally as good in a very different way. That being said, we all know of the controversy surrounding him. Anthony Rapp made some allegations against him. He wrote a response that was not satisfactory, and in fact, he even came out as gay during that time period. And many members of the LGBT community complained that he was basically using them as a shield for his behavior. And in all fairness, when he came out, those headlines did overpower the allegation headlines for a couple of days. So one could argue that temporarily it worked. It absolutely worked. His coming out shielded him for a couple days on the blowback that came from the sexual abuse allegations. Now, here's the thing. More allegations have come out. He lost a lot of jobs. He basically was excommunicated from Hollywood. But in the years since this has happened, he has actually gone to court several times for his crimes. And he has been acquitted in all but one of those cases. And in the one case that he was found guilty, he was found liable to up to $31 million for disrupting production on Netflix's House of Cards. But then upon a review or an appeal, I don't really know which one it was, those charges were reduced to $1 million. As whoever looked over the case basically found that his interference with the show, if you will, was not nearly as destructive as Netflix wanted everyone to think. Like, apparently they could have easily finished the show with him and basically had put him in a timeout. Like, hey, you can't do this anymore, but we're going to finish the season. And it's going to be the last season anyway. So, anyway, he's kind of a hot topic actor, and he has been very open about wanting to come back for a career. And actors like Liam Neeson have spoken out for him, and Sharon Stone said, hey, we know him to be a good person. He has been acquitted of all these cases, and so we want to see him in movies again. Now, of course, if you go to social media like X and Facebook, the younger generation who maybe didn't grow up with his movies, maybe they only know him really from these allegations, they say, oh, of course, that just shows the lack of character in Hollywood, Liam Neeson and Sharon Stone, and there was a third person, I forget who it was, what kind of people are they that they would let a sexual predator back into Hollywood? And here's the thing, folks. As being one of the lone men out, I guess I should mention, look, he's been going to court. These cases have been going to court. and he has been exonerated in all of them. He has not been found guilty yet. And there's this idea that America is founded on that, hey, if you are found not guilty, you are not guilty, and you have to move on. Now, that's not to say that he didn't do these things, because, with all the accusations against him, there's probably something going on there. But maybe the quote-unquote abuse maybe isn't as big a deal as some people say, in the sense that maybe it's not on a criminal level, maybe it's just on a slightly inappropriate level. And if you've been following the cases, you'll find that most of the accusers, once they're actually put on the stand, the cases don't go the way that you would think they would go. Like one teenage boy, he sued Spacey and said Spacey had made some inappropriate comments and gestures and that he had it all on recording. So the mom filed charges, and Spacey's lawyers wanted to examine the phone that was used to record the conversations. Well, the phone was lost, and the mother even admitted to tampering with the phone because she felt embarrassed for her son. So they're suing Kevin Spacey, saying that they've got this evidence, they recorded it, but whoopsie daisy, we happened to delete it. Yeah. Don't know what to say about that one. Another case, the person died before the trial could go. Now, that's bad timing. Some people suspect that Spacey had something to do with this person's death. I don't know if that's true or not. You can't prove it. So right now it's just bad timing. The Anthony Rapp accusations, well, look, yeah, they're accusations, but there's no proof. There was no proof, and so he was found not liable for anything that happened. He's going to court for another trial. We'll see if he's found not guilty again. But I have to say, as someone who's watching this from the outside, and he is going to court multiple times, and in all these cases, he's come out on top, maybe he didn't do anything. It seems unlikely. But what if he didn't do anything? If you go to court and you are found not guilty, you are allowed to work. You are allowed to be in movies. Now, if you don't want to go to those movies, that's fine. You don't have to go to those movies. But the thing is, he's allowed to work. Until he is found guilty, he is officially not a criminal. And since he is one of my favorite actors, if he gets to make another movie, hopefully it will be good, and hopefully he's excellent in it. And if he has truly done these things that he has been accused of, hopefully someone can provide some evidence so that he can go to jail, so that it is an open and shut case. But so far, Kevin Spacey has not been found guilty of anything, except for maybe being slightly disruptive on House of Cards, which necessitated that he pay $1 million. So that's that on that topic. Now let's talk about a couple other topics. The second one is that Criterion Collection and Janus Films have been sold to Indian paintbrush founder Stephen Rails. Now this comes to us from Variety. Indian paintbrush founder Stephen Rails has purchased Criterion and Janus Films. The mission and leadership of the companies will not change following the private transaction. Screen Daily was first to report the news of the sale. Quote, "We have grown our brands and audiences with dedication to a set of values reflected in the films we release, the way we release them, and the way we conduct our business with our valued partners around the world," said Criterion and Janus Films president Peter Becker, who told the outlet, "We are excited to continue that legacy and pursue new opportunities now available through these relationships." Janus Films was founded in 1954 by Bryant Halliday and Cyrus Harvey Jr. and has since become the preeminent distributor of international classic films in the United States. Recent films include Drive My Car, Evil Does Not Exist, which I'm going to be seeing this week, EO, and The Beast. On Monday, Sideshow and Janus Films acquired all North American rights to Payal Kapadi, As We Imagine As Light. All We Imagine As Light, the first Indian film to screen in official competition at the Cannes Film Festival in 30 years. Now, who is Indian Paintbrush? Well, they are a film production company that has produced and financed all of Wes Anderson's films since 2007. And as you notice, all of Wes Anderson's films, with the exception of Isle of Dogs and the most recent film, they're all on Criterion Collection. Like Royal Tannenbaums, Steve Life of Aquatic, Fantastic Mr. Fox, which also happened to be the first animated film in the Criterion Collection. For those of you who do not know what the Criterion Collection is, it is a DVD curator. And they select films that are important and they put them on disc with restoration, special features, essays. They have a streaming service called the Criterion Channel, which is a curated streaming channel where they will say, hey, this is a collection of this director's films. This is a collection of this actor's films. In celebration of this holiday, here are some films we recommend. And they produce documentaries on, like, down on their luck movie theaters that turn their business around, for example. So if you are a cinephile and you love movies, like truly love movies, the Criterion Channel and the Criterion Collection are things you want. In fact, I am more than halfway through of collecting all the Criterion Collection Blu-rays, 4Ks, and DVDs. It's kind of a bucket wish thing to eventually collect them all and then to write books about the Criterion Collection and make videos. So I've got Criterion projects in the background. I am hoping that with this purchase, more interesting movies come to be part of the collection. I am certain that Indian Paintbrush, whatever movies they fund from now on, probably going to become part of the Criterion Collection, whether they should be there or not, although hopefully if the movie is truly not good, they will acknowledge that and not put it as part of the collection, because Criterion picks some weird movies sometimes to put into the collection. So that's an interesting development. I hope that it doesn't ruin the lineup, but we shall see. And now the third topic I want to talk about, and this is by far the most baffling out of all of them, because we know that the Walt Disney Company is basically an IP-driven studio now. They do have a Daisy Ridley drama coming out this year that is going to be like, forgive, that's my phone, that will be like the first original movie they've made since I think 2012, which was the Incredible Life of Timothy Green or something like that, whatever that weird movie was. And it's going to be the first one. Now, we know that Disney is all about IP. I did not think that they would actually greenlight a movie based on Club 33. Now, what is Club 33? Well, Club 33 is an exclusive club at Disneyland and now Disney World and Tokyo Disney. It was originally conceived by Walt Disney to be like a private little club where he could entertain clients and guests personally. Now, he died before the club was completed, but when the club was completed, it was designated as Club 33, and memberships were provided to the original 33 sponsors of Disneyland. Now, this club is very exclusive. It's hard to get on the waiting list. It's hard to get an interview, and even if you get the interview, there is no guarantee that you will be invited to the club. And once you're invited to the club, well, then you got to pay the dues, which I don't have exact figures in front of me, but I hear they are quite expensive. Now, the club is located above Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland. Not sure where they're located in Disney World. But if you're a Disney fan, you probably know about this club. And it's kind of Disney's worst kept secret. Disney officially does not talk about the club very much. They don't advertise it. It is meant to be an exclusive private thing, but Disney fans know about it. And it's very hard to get in. You basically have to know someone to get into the club. You can't just make a reservation. This can't be it's not like you can do a Make-A-Wish thing. You have to know someone who is actually a member of the club. And I think that raises the intrigue of the club itself. Now, I have dined at Club 33 way back in 2010. I had a job, I serviced someone, and they loved my service so much they invited me and my family to dine at Club 33. And it was one of the best days of my life. I enjoyed it so much that when I took pictures and napkins and things like that from the club, I made like a little art collage that hangs on the living room wall so that people can see the day that I shared. And it's something that I definitely recommend you do at least once if you can. It truly is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity when you get the chance, especially considering that the chances of getting invited again are very slim. And that's one of the reasons why this movie really makes me scratch my head a little bit. Now, here's the thing. It's going to be written by the writer of Goosebumps, Darren Lemke, and produced by Sean Levy's 21 Laps. And apparently this project is going to have somewhere of a vibe between Clue and Night of the Museum. The story, according to the Hollywood Reporter, is that the story centers on a young aspiring detective who receives a mysterious invite to the highly secretive Club 33. In this case, it's a magical and exclusive dining club whose members are the greatest and most iconic figures from across history. When a murder is committed on the premises, the patrons look to the young detective to solve it. Now, as a story idea, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I could actually see that being a very fun movie. That sounds great, but here's the thing that baffles me about the whole concept. As mentioned earlier, Disney is very coy about the existence of Club 33. I don't even think cast members are even supposed to acknowledge that the club exists unless a guest comes up and says, "My name is so-and-so, I have reservations to Club 33, how does this work?" And then they can look you up and they can help you at that point. But for the most part, they basically don't advertise it, they don't publicize it, and they don't like to bring attention to it, because especially in today's world where everything that gets big ends up being like given more attention than it really should. Like, for example, there was like the Andy's Home secret at Disneyland, where when people used to say Andy's home, the Toy Story characters would flop on the ground and pretend to be lifeless. Now, of course, that didn't happen very often, so doing that once in a while didn't really disrupt anything. However, once the secret went on the internet and everybody was doing it, well, then at that point it became unfeasible to do that. So now the cast member says that Andy has gone off to college, because at that point Toy Story 3 had come out, and they don't do that anymore. Well, can you imagine Disney releasing a movie about Club 33 and all of a sudden all these regular people are now looking for the Club 33 entrance? Now, they've kind of solved this because the Club 33 door has been moved in Disneyland. It used to be the green door next to the Blue Bayou with the 33 plaque. That used to be the entrance. That is no longer the entrance. I don't know what happens if you open that door anymore. But it is now the door, the waiting area is now in front of, like, I think the Pandora jewelry shop or something like that at Disneyland. And so there's now like a clear gate there, and if you are a member, you can go in and you can wait. Can you imagine like people just standing in front of that trying to take pictures? There's a reason that this has all been hush hush. It's because it's private, it's exclusive, and they don't want the entrance being flooded with people trying to get a glimpse at what they cannot do. So it baffles me, first of all, that they would do this, because it's just going to put more attention onto the club and potentially create a traffic jam for who knows how long the movie is popular. Which makes me wonder just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I have no insider knowledge, this is pure speculation. Does Disney plan to open up the club to the general population? Like, maybe there's no longer a Club 33 membership in the traditional sense. Maybe anyone can get a reservation for this as long as they get it far enough in advance, and the food is still pricey and the atmosphere is still a certain way, but now pretty much anyone can go in. I wonder about that, because even though that seems counterproductive to the idea behind Club 33, someone's probably thinking, well, we can make this movie and we'll make a little bit of money from the movie. I mean, Club 33 is not a big enough brand to open at $100 million, if even make it to $100 million. But it could serve as a valuable advertising for this new fancy restaurant that is now being opened to the public for the first time ever. And people will be making reservations to pay an average of $150 per meal per person at this club. I mean, that could make Club 33 like the real money maker. I mean, I know that the initiation fees are high. I know the annual membership is high, and I know those members tend to buy $100 wines and things like that. But what if the whole idea behind making this movie is to basically Disney wants to say we're kind of moving away from the club membership idea, moving away from that, and we will do that with this movie so that once this movie comes out, interest in the club will pop up, and it'll still be like closed off and everything, but now there will be certain ways you can make reservations for this place. You probably still have to do a little bit of detective work, but it will no longer be a you have to know someone to get in. Maybe they even charge like an entrance fee, like, hey, do you want to dine at Club 33? There's $100 per person entry fee, and then you buy the food. I mean, who knows? This could be very lucrative if this is what Disney's doing. If all they're doing is making a movie and they're just so scared of making a movie without something recognizable attached to it that they're even going to do it for a restaurant that the vast majority of moviegoers can never visit, it's just a strange idea for a project. But again, it sounds like a good one. It sounds like something I would like to see, and I commend Disney for thinking a little bit outside the box on this one. I mean, I don't know what's next. Are they going to make a movie about the bedroom that's in Sleeping Beauty Castle, or the family vacation area that's above Pirates of the Caribbean? There's a lot of things above Pirates of the Caribbean that's exclusive. Are they going to make a movie about the mysterious bar 1901? I mean, that, who knows? Maybe that could be interesting too. Maybe that could be the sequel. I don't know. But either way, and you know, I'm gonna follow up on this. Just to let you know, I could even see that if this movie was successful, they could make a whole bunch of movies under the Club 33 banner. Like, you know how they had like they called the Rian Johnson films a Knives Out mystery. So Glass Onion was like a Knives Out mystery. I could see more movies being made and they can call it a Club 33 mystery. Like, that could be an interesting concept for them. But I do wonder what plans they have for the movie and the club. In the meantime, that's going to bring this episode of iCritic Live to an end. Remember, if you are listening to this for the first time and you would like to make this official, then you can subscribe to us on all the major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, whatever. If you are listening to this podcast on YouTube or someplace that allows comments, please leave a comment on what you think about all of these topics and whether or not you would like to see a Club 33 movie, and do you think they would actually open up Club 33 to the general public if this movie became big? I would love to know all of that. And in the meantime, stay safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you at the movies. Take care. Hey, you made it to the end. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Just a few more things. First of all, the names that you see on the screen, these are our Patreon and YouTube member supporters, and I thank each and every one of them. Their support helps me make exclusive videos for Patreon and YouTube members, as well as keep the channel running, and of course is just of huge kindness to me. Also, don't forget to check out the iCritic Live podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, Deezer, whatever podcasting service you listen to. It is there. We definitely want to see you there. And hey, there's also other videos that you can check out. So, you know, check out these other channels, these other videos, especially that one. I think that's a really good one.